Hello, welcome back to March's Planning Mess. I thought I would do a quick video on my financial planner setup that I have for this year and what I'm thinking about doing for next year. So let's get started. It's a much more simple setup than a planner, but this is what works for me as far as tracking what I spend. So this is a A5 like 90 some page, 93 page book from Wonderland 222. So it's pretty thin. My original intention with this was for it to be my financial planner, and I was going to put it in the back of a Hobonichi Cousin inside the cover, back when I thought that that could potentially work for me, which ended up being way too big. But I do like the space that this has for what I'm using it for. So let's just look at this really quick. It's pretty simple. I did like a yearly tracker here in the front just to kind of check in. We get paid once a month. My husband does, and that's where the majority of our bills are paid from. And so it comes in on the 15th. And so I like that because our bills come once a month. But as far as weekly spending, some of those pay periods are it's always a little bit more than 4 weeks. So it ends up, I'd use Monday as my reset day. And so some months have 4 weeks and some have 5 weeks. Of course, there's always 1 5-week out of every quarter. So I use this to kind of track when those would land. I thought I'd use this as an index, but it's not really necessary. The book has got 3 sections and that's all that it has in it. So let's get into it here. This is, okay. So the way that we've handled our checking accounts situation is I like to pay all my bills online automatically. And so we have a main checking account, which I call the bill pay account. And that's where the main check goes in every month. And then all the automatic bills go out when they're supposed to. They're all set up through the bank. And then I take some money and I transfer that to my joint checking account, which is the money that I use every week to spend on groceries, gas, that sort of thing. The reason behind this was when things are tight, and if you spend a little bit too much on groceries or gas, you might not be able to pay the mortgage or some other big thing that comes through. So this is a way to protect those bills. If you do go in the hole, you're going in the hole for your gas and your grocery budget, not for a major bill that's going through. So as a way to track that, every week has a page, and see week 1, and I've got the dates there, credit and debit columns. So it's like a check register. That's how I originally set it up. And I would go through and add up, and I kind of had my weekly goals of how much I wanted to spend every week, which is set up in a different part of this book, but I knew what it would be, whether it was a 4-week or a 5-week month. This is the joint checking, so this is the everyday spending. And for this setup, for this account, I do have a few bills that come out automatically that I just have not had the time to track down and transfer over to the bill paying account. So I, take that money, I subtract those bills that I know are going to come out, and that's what I divide up between 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how the cycle goes. So this is just, I go through, and you can see I've got some of these circled here. The circled ones I don't add up in my weekly spending because those are the ones no, these are charges that happened in my checking account where I'm having a hard time thinking. I'm sorry. These are fraudulent charges. And so I was marking those so I could go to the bank and get that reversed. So, but I would do the same thing when something that comes through that I don't add up, I would indicate it. So anyway, that's how I do that. It's not anything miraculous or spectacular. It's just kind of how I like to do it. So I've got, a page for every week. After a while I thought, I don't know that I want to use this anymore. I know what it was. I was using my paper test, which is a B6, smaller. I had decided to get that after I had bought my Hobonichi Cousin, And so it had us 100 pages in the back. I was like, that's perfect for all my bill paying stuff. And yes, it was. But because I ended up not using the paper test for my everyday carry because it's so big, it wasn't with me all the time. I'd forget to use it, etc. And so I just didn't. I used it for a while, and I was always backlogging, and I finally was like, this is for the birds. And so I decided to pull this out again because even though it's big, it's very thin and slim and can go in my purse easily. So that being said, I did go through and backlog all of this. So that I would have all the information in one place, because I do like having it as a separate thing, because the financial stuff does not need to be with my journal and my planning. It just doesn't. I mean, it's okay if it fits all in one book and if that works for you, but for me, I don't need it to be together. In fact, it's nice just to put all the financial books together. So anyway, I did this as a check register for a long time, and then I watched somebody use a Hobonichi Weeks to track their spending, just so they could get like daily totals here. I'm figuring out what the daily balance is for every single transaction. Who needs that? I mean, at the end of the day is probably sufficient. So that being said, when I saw that, I was like, oh, I kind of like that idea. So here's my first example. So I divided it up. It's kind of like a horizontal planner, like a weeks would be. And the way they had done their weeks, this was like one page and this was the other page. And they had like, I think 6 different sections. And this was their total. So they put their beginning balance here for the week. And then every transaction, this is what they spent. And that was what their balance was at the end of the day. And so down here I put down, this is, what my weekly spending was. And I have really liked this. The only negative thing was because I had planned out and drawn out this journal all the way through, I had to take some time to white out and reassign. So here we are. This is this week and next week. And here's what I've done some whiting out to prep to make it easy to draw those lines in. But let's see, I do have a couple that were set up for the old system. I think it's after this. Oh, nope, I've got farther along in that. Here we go. So this was my check register system. So I think the other way is a little easier to read. The one problem I've run into is I tend to do almost all my shopping on Sunday, and that actually rolls over to in my bank account on Mondays. So when it tends to hit the bank. And so I tend to have more than 6 transactions per day. And so the way I was handling that was, let's see if I can find one. Okay, here's one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions in that day. So I can do up to 10. If I have more than 10, then I'm really in trouble. And this week I had 11, but I didn't have anything on the Monday. All of them showed up on Tuesday. So I guess I went shopping Monday. Anyway, because it was the holiday. Anyway, so I just kind of combined these as the same date and did it for there. So anyway, and you can see like the weekends, I'm not doing really much of anything at all. I do like how this looks. It is kind of a weird use of the space, but it is nice just to kind of see a daily total of what I'm spending. I haven't done any of those like daily spending challenges or anything like that. I mean, honestly, I spend what I spend, but I do this to sort of try and stay within a budget. I mean, it's a set income that comes in every week, or every month for me to divide up between 4 or 5 weeks. So, I mean, if I spend too much, I'm going to go in the hole. Could I save some? Sure. Usually if there's extra, I'm using it to pay off debt. So that's kind of where I'm at in this process. I have now started working. So there's another income that's coming in, and it was initially coming into this account, and I decided that because it's now a steady income and I'm wanting to like track what I do with it, that I would actually put it in a separate checking account. That way it wasn't getting mixed into this set amount that I give myself every month to spend. So anyway, that's been adjusted. This little thing right here, this shows these are the automatic transactions that come out. So I just have one more left before we get to the next cycle. So I can kind of gauge, okay, I know I have this much money left. I know this one's going to come out. And if I happen to have written any checks, which I have written one from this account, then that's kind of weighs into, okay, how much do I actually have to spend? I try not to write personal checks as much as possible because the dumb things are out there forever and it takes people a while to cash them. And so it's just harder to know exactly how much money you have. I don't want to sit there and reconcile and figure out the checks that haven't cleared yet compared to my balance. It's just annoying and frustrating. So I try not to write checks. It's very rare that I do. I do checks from my bank because it takes the money out instantly and it sends it to that person. If they don't cash the check in 90 days, then the money is returned to me and we start over. But at least it goes out instantly rather than handing them a personal check that they may hang on to for several weeks or months before they decide to cash it. And I'm guilty of the same thing. The checks they're passe. It's time to move on. All right, Cash Apps, that is the way to go because it happens right then. Okay, so this is the first section of the book. The next section I'm going to show you is the bill pay. This is the main checking account, and as you can see from this is like all the bills that go out every month. So those go out automatically. The only thing, I don't tend to like carry that card and like use it at Walmart here and there unless I may be running low in the other account and I'm like, better not, make that go in the hole. So I try not to really use the debit card with this much. But when there's excess money here, then I will pay bills, credit card bills, or, extra expenses that are coming up. So that's kind of what this is. So this is not terribly exciting because, again, it's just like a check register format. And as you can see, like these are the bills, and then I get down here and I've got to cram it all in onto this page because I've got one page per month. So the space works, but it barely works. Like this one was fine. The whole month was fine. This one I kind of had to cram them just at the very, very end. So this page I keep with me and I just kind of check them off as they go. So again, I can see as we're getting close to the end of the month, what do I have left that's coming through? Is there any extra money that I can send to here or there and kind of make decisions about? So that's how I use this. And then my middle section here, this is my credit card data. So I have a section for every month. And when I get done with these little things, I put them in here. But I have, these are the credit cards that I have, if there's any balances on them, when I pay them off. And then here's where I take the money. This is what I expected to spend each week in this month. This is what I actually spent. And is it over or under? Usually it's over. So I'm probably bringing money in from my bill pay account to manage that and balance that out. So my kids are away in boarding school and we're expecting our monthly expenses to go down, but we were laughing because we're like, okay, they've left this month. They've technically been gone for a month, but we've spent even more because, of all those expenses that you have when you set your kids up in a dorm. You go there, it's like $600 between Walmart and Target. So I'm like, this next month hopefully will be a little bit more true. All right, so now let's move into what I have for this coming year. Now, with all of my planners, I have tried a bunch of different sizes and styles. I really wanted to kind of get everything out of my system this year that I was curious about, size-wise and layout-wise, because I wanted to kind of go into next year and not be jumping around, because I want to have more consistency with my planner, and it's nice not to have 6 books that reflect the year. Just have 1 or maybe 2 if they're half-year versions. So these are some of the things that I had bought to try out. I've never been a big traveler's notebook person. I always thought it was weird. It just is so slim. And just as a comparison, like here's the A5 compared. So it's like it's an extra slim A5 because it's about the same height. Looks like my A5 is a little taller, but it's about the same height, but the width is much narrower. So let me show you what I've got. Okay, so this is from Take a Note, and I really liked the Take a Note A6 weekly planner, and I used it for 2 months. And I stopped using it because I wanted to try something different and I was kind of sad about it. but I think I don't think I'll go back to it because it doesn't have the daily pages in the back. It's just your weekly pages. Granted, you get 2 spreads per week, so you've got the space, and I do like a lot of things about that. But anyway, all of that to say, during my take a note phase, I was like, well, let's try out their slim weekly calendar and see what that's like. So I've decided this is what I'm probably going to be using for my financial planner. So let's look at the layout. Now, is this undated? It is undated. So it is a vertical planner. So I was thinking, okay, well, I could put all of my transactions per day here. That would give me a lot of space. But with it being vertical and not, I like to add things vertically. We all learned to do that in school. But when you've got like the name, like say Walmart, $150, and then you have Taco Bell, $10, and then all these things, it's like words and then numbers, words and numbers, words and numbers. That my brain doesn't like to add that way. I want the words here and then the numbers there. So I was trying to figure out how I could make this work, and I kind of had thought it wasn't going to be possible. But let's see, where's my example? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little flip. And I'm going to use it this way. And so you can see here it says, I've done all this in pencil because I'm not committed, but I'm kind of committed. And I know about the size of a rectangle I need. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then over here is where I can write the days total. So I can go through my whole week, and then, and I can, up here can be where I write down where my spending was. So if you look at this amount of space compared to what I have been using, which has worked fairly well, this is 1 week, 1 page here, but this will be 1 week. So I'll have a little bit more room because, like I was saying, my Mondays, I tend to have, sometimes 7 to 10 transactions. So I may still have to divide some of them up. The world won't end. But I may, bleed over down here and then just say, okay, my Tuesday is going to start here. That's also an option I haven't considered until like this very moment. But anyway, this is what I'm planning to use. Now, the reason I'm wanting to use this is, number one, I have it and I should use it, not waste it. But these traveler's notebooks are very slim and thin and easy to put in a bag. So I've got it in here in a traveler's notebook cover, which makes it kind of chunky. But I can pull it out of here with no problem and take it somewhere else. Now this, I had also toyed with the idea of using this. Oh no, I had a Kinbor planner, which had a cool layout, and I was kind of actually planning to do this sideways vertical thing in it, but I ultimately said no to that one because it does not have Tomoe River paper, which meant even though it had the exact same number of pages as this one does, it was 2.5 times as thick, maybe 3 times as thick. The bad thing with this one is it only gives you half of, and I don't know why they only give you 26 weeks. Now they give you enough pages that you can do all of them. You just have 0 layouts. So you have to start drawing in your layouts, which isn't, again, the end of the world. I could switch and go horizontal and finish it that way. The only reason that I would probably not do that is because I don't have as many spaces across this way as I do going this way. So I probably won't do that. Probably just keep it the same format. But anyway, and then this is probably what I'm going to use. Well, I won't. I have gotten something different to use for health and fitness. So this is going to just remain, and it's also dated, so I would have to redate it. So there's no commitment for when I have to use it because I'm going to have to redate it anyway. But this is, I may use this for, I don't know. It is really set up well for fitness. And the reason I wanted to use it for fitness was it has a lot of these little graphs already in there. And so that would be kind of nice. I mean, I've toyed with using this for an everyday carry, mostly because it's broken up. Sorry, it's late. I could use this for my vertical layouts, just so I could have it at a glance. I could use this for to-do lists. There's also other places for to-do lists or tracking. I don't know, but I think in a lot of ways this could work for health and fitness. I like to graph a lot of things, but I've kind of moved away from hand graphing things and just kind of pulling off images from my phone, from my fitness software, because I like to see them all in the same place. I don't want to scroll through my phone from week to week. Okay, this is what what my sleep score was. This is what my weight was, etc. I like to see all that data together on one sheet. So this would give me the opportunity to do that, but it would be a lot more work of plotting it out. And I don't know that I'm necessarily up to that. So that I'm going to put this on hold and do this later. So this book is just kind of hanging out here till I decide I want to repurpose and use it. But this one is going to be my bill paying. I see I have a note here, and I was going to buy when I did my Sterling Ink order, and I forgot. I was going to buy a booklet for the other account, the bill paying account, the one that runs more like a check register. Well, I use, I'm thinking, I can't use the back of this because I need all of these pages to have 52 weeks. Could I use this one? No. This does not have it, but I could find from Amazon a cheap traveler's notebook that's just probably not horizontal layout. I'd probably just want a blank notebook. And I feel like when I bought this that it came with some blank ones. So I may just need to dig through my stash and see if there's a blank one that I could use for my credit card, like my monthly spread with the credit card payments. And I could put that in here. Sorry, I'm so tired, but I thought I need to go over this. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some ideas of how you can track things. I just like this. It's so much cleaner. It's so much cleaner than what I was doing before. Yeah, it would make a little bit more sense if my spending wasn't so like weekend heavy, all on Sunday. But that's okay. It is what it is. And I could always restructure. I mean, I've set this up like it's a planner, but who says it has to be that way? Who says this has to be each day? I mean, I'm not using these days down here hardly at all. So I could just give myself as much space as I need to put in each day's stuff. So anyway, don't the message here is don't box yourself in. Make it work for you. And right now I really like how this is working enough to want to set it up this way for next year. We've got time. If I see somebody else with a better, I'm definitely open to financial spreads. If I see a better set of spreads out there, I'll abandon ship. I mean, that's why I penciled this one in. I didn't want to fill out the whole book because that's what happened here. I filled out this whole book in like September because I ordered my Hobonichi order and I ordered a Wonderland 222 order, and it came and I was like, let's set it up. I was so excited and I set it up, and then I went a different direction. And so the book was sitting there and I was feeling like it was going to be wasted. So I'm kind of I'm kind of glad that I was able to revive it and really use it. And I think it's working for me. So enough that I'll continue with it. And I mean, worst case scenario, I've lost my train of thought. So I'm just going to end the video because it's late. I need to go to bed. Hope this was helpful and have a great day.